One trading site stands above them all. You guys have all watched on this channel as we've turned a little bit into a lot, moving 8 Bitcoin into $1 million and also moving $10,000 into $100K in 16 days. Today, we're going to get in depth with a long-form Bybit tutorial to show you guys how to work it so you can get those gains. Let's get it. BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap gets you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.io. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the largest crypto channel in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money in crypto, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today, guys, we don't need a long intro. We're going to get straight into our full Bybit tutorial. Okay, so today I'm going to be giving you guys a full detailed tutorial on how to use Bybit. We're not going to cut corners. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. We're going to try to cover basically every single thing. A lot of you guys have asked for this video, and so we want to make sure that we show you guys what you need to be doing. We're not going to be taking a look at Market Cypher today or how to actually figure out where to make good trades. We're just going to be looking at the platform, how to sign up, and then how to use it. We have created a new Bybit account here. This is our $100K to $1 million challenge account. So we're going to be starting off here with some sample trades and showing you guys how to execute them and showing you some of the things on the platform that you definitely need to know. So first things first, of course, if you want to sign up for Bybit, head on over to bitboycrypto.com and then click deals, and you'll go here to the deals page. You'll scroll down a little bit down here to Bybit. And once you click here, it's going to take you to this place where you create the account. Now, this is the first place where people run into a lot of problems because you may be outside of an area on Bybit with their trading where your IP address gets banned or anything like that. The way around that, use a VPN, a virtual private network. I always suggest using a VPN for anything because you just don't want to have all of your data out there for people to see. We actually use Unlimited VPN. You can get access to that on the deals page, scrolling all the way down to the bottom right here. Unlimited VPN. Now, one of the things about Unlimited VPN is it's going to default when you sign up. You'll see the little icon at the top of the screen right there. I have it turned on currently. But what will happen is you'll get an error message that says IP not supported when you try to sign up. So you go get your VPN, you turn it on. The default setting on Unlimited VPN is going to be the fastest IP address, which is going to be an American IP address or a UK IP address or wherever you live. And you're going to want to make sure that you use one from a different country. And after you select a different country, then you should be able to sign up with no problem. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do. Create the account. I know it's obvious. I know a lot of you guys already have accounts, but I'm trying to cover every single thing. So once you create the account, you're going to want to go in and set your two-factor authentication, which you do on any site. That's what allows you to be able to withdraw. So once you do that, you have your account. You can finally go over here to promotions, head on over to the rewards hub. This is where you're going to get deposit bonuses. I know you guys love deposit bonuses. If you're a DGen, you definitely love an extra $50, extra $5. If you look right here, you get a $5 deposit or a $5 deposit bonus just for depositing Bitcoin. So I actually did that. So let me claim that. See if I can claim that $5. Boom. I just got awarded $5. It's that easy. You guys follow, you guys can go back over here to the rewards hub. Sorry, this is unfiltered here. Back to the rewards hub. And you guys will see I got the $5 deposit bonus. Now you can get a $5 deposit bonus just for following them on social media. For this one, you get $50 or a first-time bonus. When you add all this up, it can be a couple $100. And then also, they have a referral program. You guys can sign up for the referral program on the site as well if you want to have affiliate links like I do for Bybit. You get percentage of trading fees. And it's a good way to get some extra money in your pocket. But going back here, if you have a code, sometimes we have special promotions on Bybit, and in that case, you'll want to put that code in right there and then hit redeem, and you should be able to get access to that. So that's what you're going to want to do. Go sign up, get your VPN, get registered with Bybit. Then at that point, go to the Rewards Hub, get all your bonuses. If you got a special promotion code, put it up there. Okay, now we're going to go to the platform itself. So here we are on Bybit. Now to understand what this is leverage trading. Some people may also call it margin trading. What does this mean? It means that you are borrowing an asset in order to trade it, and then you're making money on the gains that you make. So you kind of think of it like this. If you have one Bitcoin and you want to trade that Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes up $100, you make $100. If it goes down $500, you lose $500, and it's pretty cut and dry. If you use 2x leverage, you could be trading with 2 Bitcoin. It's 2 times your original amount. 5x trading, you could be trading with 5 Bitcoin. 100x trading, which is very dangerous. I never suggest anyone 100x trades. You could be trading with 100 Bitcoin. So what actually happens is if the price of Bitcoin goes up $1, okay, or let's say it goes up $100, if you're trading on 100x, you make 100 times that gain. But the thing about leverage is the more that you borrow, the tighter window you have for what's called getting liquidated. If your account drops below a certain amount, you would lose all of the money in the trade. This is not regular Bitcoin trading on Coinbase or Binance or spot trading. This is a very special kind of trading. Now, you may be asking, why would anybody give you that Bitcoin in order to trade with? Well, they're protected. They're lending out your Bitcoin, and whatever gains or losses you make, you're also going to pay fees. And those fees go to the person or to the entity that's allowing you to borrow the Bitcoin to trade on leverage. But they're protected because if you lose a certain amount, as I said earlier, you will get liquidated, lose all the money in the trade, and then that person is not taking a hit on what they allowed you to trade with. So there are different types of contracts that you can trade with when it comes to Bybit. So if you scroll up here to the top of the page and look at the top left, you look here at trade. Understanding the different kinds of contracts is very important, and they just released some new ones. So inverse futures, you can do trading on Bitcoin futures contracts, but I've never done that before, so we're going to totally ignore this one type of trading. We're going to focus on the inverse perpetual and the USD perpetual. So what the difference in this is that with the inverse perpetual contracts, you're actually trading with these assets. So if we come over here to our assets, I did just deposit $100K in here, so you're going to see that. And it's already dropped since I deposited $700. How about that? I haven't even made a trade yet. But if you come over here and you look at your assets, you'll notice there are 5 different assets on Bybit. You can deposit Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, XRP, and USDT. Now, it's a sneaky way to trade XRP if you're still looking to trade it right here through Bybit. But these are, if you notice, they match up with the inverse perpetuals, okay? Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, XRP. With these, you're actually making your gains in that coin. So if Bitcoin goes up and you're on this contract, you make profit in Bitcoin. Same thing with Ethereum. If the price goes up, you make profit in Ethereum. But you also have these. These are called USDT perpetual contracts. With these, you're depositing, if we come here, you're depositing USDT. Tether, it's a stable coin. And what happens is that you make trades based on these assets, okay, which is, you'll notice it's a different list: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink, Litecoin, and Tezos. And also, very soon, will also be Uniswap, DOT, and Cardano. So I thought I had already seen these on here. I guess they're not available to trade yet, but you'll be able to trade those contracts as well in the very near future. It was a big announcement that they just had. But the difference is you can't actually deposit Chainlink into Bybit. You're depositing Tether, and then what happens is you are, like, if you come here and look at the contracts, so we'll actually click on it here, and you can see here it is, Link USDT. It has a dollar amount here. You are betting on the dollar amount of Chainlink. And if Chainlink goes up, you're making money, your profits come in Tether and USDT. They will not actually come in Chainlink. So that's the biggest difference between the inverse perpetual contracts and the USD perpetual contracts. There they are. Now when I clicked on it, now there they are. So you guys can see right there, it is available right now. You can trade Cardano, Polkadot, and Uniswap, or the UNI token, the Uni token. You can trade those against the dollar value. Once again, you can't actually deposit or withdraw those cryptocurrencies. Only the inverse perpetual ones, you can do that. So I hope that's a good way to explain that to you guys. I hope you guys understand the difference now between that. I see the numbers. See, a lot of you guys are doing these contracts. Pretty much for me personally, I only trade the coin margined, the inverse perpetual contracts. That's just what I personally like to do. Bitcoin and Ethereum specifically, mostly Bitcoin. So let's check this out here. You got your fiat gateway if you're able to deposit cash, if that's what you want to do. We've already looked at the promotions that if you want to see what they have going on for the latest promotions, you can go here to their blog. Bybit's always having like cool stuff going on, as you guys can see here. So let's see what else. They've got a blog. If you want info on the contracts, you can go here. You can select all this. You can find out, a lot of details about the settlements and how all these work. I'm thinking about doing another video where we talk about the fees, because the fees are pretty hefty. You pay a price for borrowing. That's kind of the whole point of this. But I think it would take a whole video just to explain those fees. So let's go here to the Bitcoin to USD coin margined inverse perpetual contract. And you're looking here at the Bitcoin price. So let's kind of break down the whole screen here, okay? So here you have the ticker symbol. You have the dollar amount. It shows you the change over the last 24 hours. It'll show you a percentage. If you hover over it, it will show you the actual dollar amount itself, down $153. It'll show you the 24-hour high, 24-hour low, the 24-hour turnover. That's the volume of Bitcoin, going through on Bybit. And then it shows you the funding rate. So I think when I talk about the fees on a different video, we can talk about the funding rates, because that's also kind of along those lines. On this video, we really want to focus on showing you how to use the platform. So, but just know the funding and the countdown is very important. So then here you have your chart, and you can if you see my cursor here, you can actually move these around. I'm not going to move around my dashboard because I like it this way. But if you wanted to change things and make it look differently, you can do that. But looking at the chart, you can select your time interval. Now, keep in mind, when we're trading on Bybit, we're using Market Cipher. We're not really looking at the chart here for analysis. We're using our trading view Market Cipher setup. That's what I'm using. But if you wanted to use this, you certainly can. You can select different candles. You guys can do the Heikin Ashi candles here, same way you can do on Market Cipher. You can change the layout of the line if you wanted to do that. Let's see here. You can change the time frame, like I said, and then you can, put indicators on if you want to do, Bollinger Bands or RSI or things like that. You can add that to the chart as well if this is what you would like to use. Okay, so for this tutorial, I've just moved it back to the candles. That's what most of you guys are going to be using. So right here, this is a quick order. If you want to buy long, you could hit this. You could put how many contracts you wanted in, which we'll talk about here in just a second. And you could actually do it right here on this you can make your orders on this little widget. I don't suggest doing that. I would just rather do it in the traditional way. So I'm not going to really show you guys how to do that right now. Looking over here, this is your order book. This is where the buys and sells are taking place. You can see what quantity of contracts is stacked up on different positions. So if you look here, you see right now it's at 58,716, but right here at 57.21, you can see there's a lot of orders. So this can kind of show you some short-term support and resistance, but it moves very, very quickly. I don't really get too much out of watching the order book, other than just kind of seeing, where maybe giant sell walls will be and things like that. It shows all of the recent trades right here. You can scroll through these. All I really am doing with the order book right here is sometimes when the price of Bitcoin is moving pretty quickly and I just want to figure out where I want to get an order in at, I might just look up here and I might just click this. And when you click this, as you see right here, it will automatically update that into the order price. I don't really use the order books that much. Generally, I know what positions I want. I just go ahead and put them. So, but that is, useful. Here you got some different settings. You can look at the bid price, just the ask price, or the overall order book. So now we're getting into the good stuff over here. On the top right side of the screen, you guys will see you'll have a username up here, and you can get to your assets page up here, your account and security API. If you want to sign up for the referral program, you can do that. But this right here is where you're going to make your orders. Now, right now, I'm going to show you guys something very important. You have cross and isolated margin. I do not like cross margin. I never use cross margin. The way this works is it automatically sets it at 100x, and I hate that. So you guys can see here, it says maximum leverage. Under cross margin mode, you cannot manually adjust leverage or initial margin. Instead, initial margin is derived by the maximum leverage allowed under the current risk limit. You may lower the maximum leverage by raising the risk limit in trading preference settings, risk limit settings. Basically, it's always going to run at 100x based upon your risk limit, which I'm not even going to show you how to change that today because I don't want you guys trading on cross margin. It's very dangerous. You can just all of a sudden blink and your entire account is gone. So you do not want to do that. You want to do what we call isolated margin. This is where you control the margin of your trades. So right now I'm just going to click 10x. As you guys can see here, it says apply changes to leverage. Each contract can only use one leverage consistently across all active orders and open positions. Please note that changing the leverage while holding position will affect the liquidation price. Long and short of what this is saying, if you set an order and it gets filled, you cannot go back in and change the leverage for an additional order. Any other order that you put in is going to come in at the same exact leverage. Now, you can change the leverage of an open position, but you can't have multiple leverage running at one time. Now, one thing that you can do, just kind of a tip, I know CryptoFace taught me this and it's been worked out very well for me. You can't long and short on the same account. If you have a long position and it's kind of like a long-term position, but you say, oh, I feel like it is going to drop in the short term, you can't long and short on the same account. So I suggest everybody signs up for at least 2 accounts. Even 3 to 5 accounts is pretty good. That way you can be trading in a short term, a mid-term, and a long term. And you don't have to get wonky with your buys versus your sells. So that's definitely something. Even if you have a Bybit account, you can go ahead and open up a new one by going over to bitboycrypto.com/deals and signing up right here. Obviously, click this link and then go to the reward hub like we talked about already. And you can get multiple accounts to do multiple different types of trades. You can't long and short on the same account. If you're long and you put a short order in, it will close it will close your current long. You can't have 2 separate ones. Same leverage all the way across the board. And then let's talk about the orders up here. And then we'll talk about what leverage actually is. I know we've covered it briefly already. Okay, so let's talk about the different types of orders. You have a limit order. This is an order to buy or sell at a given price or better. What this means, you set the price. Then we have the market order. A market order will immediately be filled at the best available price from the order book. Execution price may be better or worse than expected due to price movement. And then we have conditional. Conditional orders activate only when the trigger price is reached. You can use conditional orders for take profit, stop loss, and breakout trading purposes. I suggest not really worrying about conditional right now if you're a beginner. And I definitely do not suggest using market orders. You will get pounded with fees. And this is not going to be the best way to trade. You're going to want to always use limit orders. You will definitely get wrecked if you're using market orders. You want to use limit orders. All the difference is you're going to set the price. If you wanted to basically fire off exactly where the price is, that's okay too. Would prefer that you have entries that you're looking for based on charts or maybe, some other different type of research. But it's very easy to put this order price in. So we're about to start executing trades, but you want to be on limit. You want to be on isolated, and then you want your leverage to be, somewhere, if you're a beginner, between 3 and 5%, or 3x to 5x, maybe 10x at the most. I don't suggest beginners use any more than that. We can get into some different areas later on where it is okay to use that kind of leverage. But 50x to 100x, you're definitely going to get wrecked. So let's, for this purpose, use 7x because that's actually what we're going to be using mostly for our challenge, our $100K to $1 million challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that again. So apply the change to leverage. So here we are at 7x. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to want to set the price. If you wanted to set the price pretty much exactly where it is, all you got to do is come over here and just click these, and you can see it change. 58,874, 58,874. If you wanted to go for a lower price, you wanted it to drop, go down here, 58,864, and you can see it automatically changes up here. So your order price is better if you have kind of areas where you say, okay, I want it to hit this support level. Let's say that support level is $58,000. You could set that right there. And then you have to select your number of contracts. This is very easy to do. All you're going to do here is you can click on these percentages, and these percentages represent your account. 100% of your account would put in 100% of the contracts. But the thing is to keep in mind also is that if you're using higher leverage, you can only do a maximum of 1 million contracts at a time. So you might have to do multiple orders to get 100%. I suggest doing about 25% of your account in a trade. That will give you some still remaining account balance if you were to go down and get liquidated or hit a stop loss to where you could go back in and still have a good enough position to make money. And of course, like I talked about earlier, what this X represents is how many times your account or your trade that you're borrowing. So on 7X, if I were to do, let's say, 25% of my account, which is $25,000, I'm actually trading with 7 times that. So that's where that 170,000 contracts comes into play. And I could do a whole other video explaining exactly what a contract is, but I don't think that's really necessary for this video. Just understand that the best way for beginners to do it is just look at this bar down here with the percentages. This would be 10% of your account. This would be 25%. This would be 50%, 75%, and then 100% of your account. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. If you guys want more clarification on that, I think I can maybe do another video on that maybe next week. Okay, so for this, we're going to do 25% of our trade. We're going to want to get this order executed here in a little bit. So we're going to monitor the price over here, see if we can get it executed in a minute. But you have some more options down here. This is go long, which means bet the price of Bitcoin's going up. This is sell short, which means you're betting the Bitcoin price goes down. Now, for me, I don't short in a bull market. We're in a bull market. I only go long. That's my strategy. It's worked very well, and I'm going to continue doing that. But if you want to do that, you click a box. And when you click that box, you have these 2 additional boxes that pop up. Take profit. This is how much of your account that you want, or how much of what percentage of profit you want to pull out at. So if the trade gets up to 25%, where it's a 25% win, that means the price would go up. It looks like about, what is that? $2,100 or $2,150. That will give you a 25% profit. This means if it hits this number, if Bitcoin goes up to $60,148.50, it will automatically close your trade, and you will close that trade with 25% gains. Here at the bottom, it shows you what exactly would happen and what that profit would actually be. You would make 0.1 BTC, and your ROI, your return on investment, would be 25%. Your stop loss works the same way. If you click 5%, if the price drops down to $57,589, you would lose 5% of that trade, and it would automatically close. When we actually execute an order here in a second, I'll show you how I actually use stop loss and profit in order to make sure that my trades are profitable. And then of course right here it says the same thing. Last traded price to $57,589 will trigger a market stop loss order, and your loss would be, in this case, about 0.021 BTC, and your ROI would be negative 5%. You would have lost 5% on that trade. And then when you're ready to execute, you would just basically click here and the trade would execute. And then you also have these options. You might, on the mobile version, see these as GTK, I think, or FOK, and then I forget, I think it's IOC. I think it's GTC, IOC, and FOK. And these are basically different ways that your order can get filled or canceled. And so you can learn more about that, but in general, just keep it on good till canceled. And, that's what I always do. I don't ever change this option. It's a little more advanced trading. So if you're a beginner, you're not going to really want to worry about that. And then I don't really worry about these 2 boxes, this post only order. it will be executed as a maker order. If it can be executed immediately as a taker order, it will be automatically canceled. And then reduce only means it will only reduce your position size. Any order that might increase your position size will be canceled or adjusted. Like I said, I don't ever click either one of those boxes, so I don't even really know how that works. So here we go. We got your total assets. It shows you your total equity, your available balance. If you want to get a quick button to deposit, exchange, or buy, you can do that here. And then this shows the contract details. This part right here at the bottom of the screen, this is where your trades are actually going to be shown. So let's actually execute a trade and show you how this works. So right now the price is at $58,869. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to click 500. I'm going to actually try to get it at 58,845. Okay, so you guys can see it automatically updated up here. We're going to do 25% of our account. We're not going to operate with a take profit or a stop loss. I'm going to show you why in just a second. And it's actually going to fill this order. If it did not fill, by the way, it would be here on active and it would show this as an unfilled order. As soon as it gets filled, it comes over here to your positions. Okay, so right now you guys can see that I have 7X, shows the quantities, it shows the value of Bitcoin, it shows you my entry price, it shows you the liquidation price, and then it shows you the actual margin that I'm using. And over here you have it shows your unrealized profit and loss. You guys can see I'm actually down in the trade, or I was for a second. If you hover over this has a lot to do with the last traded price. That's why when you hover on it, it shows a different price. It's usually lower than the price that's shown. You want to make sure this gets up a few percentage points in order for you to make sure that you're in profit. Okay, so click this button for take profit and stop loss. Now, I usually don't run with a take profit unless I'm sleeping. If I'm going to bed, I make sure I have a take profit in case the price spikes up. I definitely don't want to miss it while I'm sleeping. So let's just set the profit at 100%. I would double this trade if the price went up to $68,638, which is possible in the next week, I do believe. But the stop loss is extremely important. Once you are in the green, once you're in the green in a trade, what I like to do, like let's say that this trade right here, we got a position price at 58,832. Now, this is kind of difficult for me to show in a live trade that I have right now. But what I would do is, let's say the price goes up to 58,000. This is the entry price. Let's say it goes up to $59,000. I'm pretty solidly in the profit. What I would do is I would actually come up here and I would put my stop loss once it got over $59,000 to $59,000. And as you guys would see, that would give me a profit of 2% on that trade, which is a big position. So that would be a decent amount. Would like for it to go up a little bit higher. But once it goes above 59,000, I lock in the stop loss. You can't do it now because the price isn't above 59,000. That means the worst case scenario, you are earning profit, because almost every big loss I've ever had, just last week, if you would have watched a big one that I had on the channel, it's because the price goes up and it gets in the green. And then what happens? I don't take the profit and it goes down in the red. The smartest way to leverage trade is to make small base hits, play small ball, get trades in that make you a small percentage, but lock them in the green. Because what you'll find is it will almost always go down and eventually get back to where you would be in the red. So what you want to do is you want to take profit on the way down. Once the price goes above and you're already in profit, you want to set that stop loss so that you can actually rest at night knowing you're already in the profit. And then you can let the price run for a while and see what happens. So right now, if I wanted to close this, I am going to go ahead and actually add a stop loss here. Let's go ahead and add a stop loss because I really don't want to be in this trade right now. I'm just doing this for example purposes. I'm going to put it at 58,750. So might end up with a little red trade here. But to take profit right there at 25%, confirm that. Now, if you wanted to close the trade immediately, you can do that over here by clicking limit or market. I suggest limit. You would click limit, and then you would be able to put your closing price in, and you can actually, if you want to take profits, for instance, you could actually do 25% and it would only close 25% of your position here. So that's a good way to take quick profits. I don't really mess with the mutual insurance here. The other thing I would say is, for me personally, I like manually setting that stop loss when I'm in profit. I don't like using a trailing stop loss. It's just not something I really do on a regular basis. I have done it before. It does work. We might do another more advanced video, show you guys how to use the trailing stop and what that looks like. But I hope that this really showed you kind of start to finish everything you're looking at on the Bybit platform. We're going to do another video later on where we're going to talk about the fees, talking about the funding rates, talking about contracts. But this is all the basics that you need to know. Now, when you set this, sometimes you'll see these pop up on the screen. You'll see these little widgets, these little boxes. Now, this is very important. These are not just boxes that you X off. If you were to just click X on one of these, it would automatically cancel the order, and you definitely don't want to cancel the order. You want to make sure that you're controlling your order down here in the list of the contracts, and that way you'll get the most out of it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's very thorough. It's much longer than videos we usually do, but I really want to make sure that we're giving you guys the best information, the fullest information. We're not trying to base it on the best, amount of minutes for the video. So this was definitely a much longer video, but I hope you got a lot out of it. If you did, make sure to smash that like button for us. Let me know what you want to see in trading videos in the future. That's all I got. Be blessed. Way out.